So, Liam, thank you very much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
How do you relate with this public side of your job?
I find it gets harder. I'm glad I'm not Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt or people that would get mobbed, you know. That does not happen. But it's, I find it harder, having made a film, to do this. I mean, you gentlemen are lovely, and it's great to be in San Sebastián, but there's a part of me finds it hard to sell the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And try and keep a certain mystery to myself without bleh. Especially in today's world where everybody, guess what I had for breakfast? Like, I don't care. You know, it's just...
Yeah. You've been working for decades now, many films. What makes you get up in the morning and say, I want to make another one? I'll keep doing this.
Writing, script. Not me, I'm not a writer. But I do admire writers, and I do admire good scripts. And I have a test, which I call my cup of tea test. If I'm sent a script, well, it used to be like that in the old days, now it's like that. My cup of tea test is if I get to page 7 or 8 and think, oh, I must make a cup of tea. That's not a good sign. And occasionally I'll be at page 107, the end. I think, wow, that's interesting. Oh, I must make a cup of tea. That's always a good sign for me.
Neil Jordan is a big name in the industry. He's a great director. How do you like directors? How do you like, what kind of director would you prefer in a set?
Wow. Someone I feel I can talk to. I don't like arguing because that's an energy that's hard to keep up, and then you have to do the scene and the camera's on you. So if you're carrying any grudges or animosity towards a director, that's not good, you know. There's some directors I've worked with, Neil 4 or 5 times. I'm about to do another film, hence this look. Hans Peter Moland, a Norwegian director that I worked with a few years ago. Rob Lorenz, who's from the Clint Eastwood school. Just very easy, laid back, knows exactly what they're doing. But confrontation with directors, I don't like. I've had very few in my career, I must admit. But I still enjoy it. I love it. I love it. It's great. That little section between action and cut is, I still get a kick out of that, no matter who the director is. You know?
You were talking about mobile phones earlier, like the new technology. We are in this debate between old cinemas and platforms, the way we see the stories now. Do you think we're going to have cinemas in 10, 20 times, in 20 years, sorry?
I would hope so. Certainly that beautiful theatre, cinema we were in today, doing some interviews, and where they showed the film, I think. It just reminded me of how extraordinary that experience is of being in a cinema with 500 people, 700 people, and the lights go down and the curtains part, and it's like, it's a really, really special occasion. And I think cinema will not be killed, not be dead. I know there's lots of streaming services that do extraordinary things. Great for writers because they can write a 6-part series and develop it. For a movie, we're talking 2 hours. Ideally, for me, it's an hour and 30 minutes. That's the perfect length for a film, I think, or an hour and 40 minutes. But the streaming services, they're some good, and they do some good work and interesting. But I'm from a different generation. I don't think cinema will die. It's like theatre, theatre's 4,500 years old, live theatre. Cinema's about just over 100 years old, but there's still a shared experience with strangers that's quite unique, I think. And I think we need it. I always think of a society and culture as being like a compass. You need to know your North Star. If you don't know your North Star, I'm comparing that to culture, if a society doesn't know its direction, it's lost. And cinema is part of that culture,
Mm-hmm. I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I think our time's up.
Did that make sense?